it's a meme. It's a meme. Good Saturday morning, YouTube family. I am bringing y'all Love Island Beyond the Villa episode, well, season 1, episode 9, Back to the Saddle, baby. And the episode, for the most part, y'all, it was funny for the most part, but I don't know what to say. Oh, baby, it wasn't funny for the most part. But I made it through. So Kenny and Janae, they are walking the dog. And then he let the leash go. You know how those leashes are, when the dog you be walking the dog, and then if you let it go, then it just it just snap back together. And then he let the leash go on purpose. I'm watching it, and I'm like, so you let that go on purpose, and was you trying to have it to hit her? It was very weird. And I see it started from the first part, and then he's sitting down. He's sitting down on the ground, and then he was like, "What dog food did you get?" I'm like, please pray for me. Please pray for me, because it started at the very beginning of the video, the show, and I'm like, so it's gonna be like this the whole episode. I was like, okay, that's how we're gonna do it. And then, she said, babe, you let the leash go. You let him off. I'm like, I hope you know that he did that on purpose for whatever reason. I don't know. I watched it, and I said, wow. Yeah, okay. And then Leah and Miguel, they bring Kiwi to the park, and then they have those babies, those babies that start crying, and they're like motion generated. I don't know what you would call them babies, but I know I had one in junior high, and that baby cried and cried and cried and cried. But I got 100 on the project, but they had one of those babies. And then Leah, she said, Janae, do you wanna babysit Petunia? That's the baby's name, Petunia. I said, oh, what a cute name. That was so cute. And Po One. One. I said, baby, you would have been better off over there with Janae, because that man that you be in his house, Kenny. So to sum this part up, for this my thoughts, and y'all may agree, y'all may not. Maybe we can agree to disagree. But from this part, how I was getting that he was acting is that it was just for show. It was just for show, a forced show. Forced scene, and then he just wasn't in it. And then everything was a joke and all this stuff. And I said, maybe he likes the spotlight, but he just doesn't like her. And I said, wow. I didn't like that. And then, Leah, she asked, did they submit, application for, One, the dog, for him to be fostered? And then Janae said, no, Kenny, he hadn't done it. I said, see. She's so sweet. She's so sweet. But get this part right here, and then I'm finna be off of them. So Janae, she said, yeah, because Leah said, well, what are y'all doing today? And then Janae said, well, Kenny has something set up for our 9-month anniversary. And when she said that, why Miguel said, well, so y'all are on month to month? Because and then Leah said, yeah. She said, yeah, we celebrate every day. And I said, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to celebrate your partner every day and not on a month-to-month basis. And see, that's what I was saying. Miguel was clocking too. He was clocking the same thing that everybody else clocked. Because who? He was clocking him. He was clocking Kenny. Okay. Because he was asking, so y'all just do it on a month-to-month basis? Okay, and then he says, so the month-to-month basis, and then he asks, you know, how are y'all's Miguel now, he asked, what are y'all's living situations? And then Janae, I'll say, I hope she didn't deliberately skip over it. But I know not Miguel. I know Kenny wasn't going to answer nothing about the living situation. And then she said, oh, it's hot. And then, you know, of course, they moved past it. Because it said it's hot. And then they moved past it. Then that was the end of their scene. Then we get to Kendall, Aaron, and Connor for paddle. It's like what, a golf course, paddle golf. And then they invite and then Kendall or Connor or whoever, Aaron, he invited what's her name, Kayla, 2 weeks ago. I said okay. And it was just all good and all that stuff. And then so Kayla and Aaron, they can both agree. I mean, they can both, you know, bond over a particular situation in their life. Because she opened up and she said that, you know, she said that before she moved to LA, well, she said since she came to LA, her mother told her that she got the call that her grandmother was admitted to the hospital. And then she said after, when she was already in LA, Kayla, then her mother got the call that her grandmother was passing away. And Aaron says that his granddad passed, so he understands. And then Kendall says that there's something still between them. And I'm like, shut the hell up, Kendall. Be quiet. Okay? Move on. And then Connor says that there is something between them too. I'm like, hey, can they both shut the hell up? Because it's some situations that you shouldn't, you know, spin the block on. You shouldn't spin the block on some relationships. You shouldn't spin the block on all relationships. Not at all. Some of them may not work. And that ain't gonna work. And then, now Aaron did have these things. It was kind of like, I don't know if y'all remember, but you know, those little scrunchies, you know, I mean, the necklaces that you used to wear like in the 90s, early 2000s, and then they stretch. So he had the exact same thing that would be a necklace on his head as a headband. I said, okay. Moving on. And then I think that Kayla and Aaron have a friendship more than a relationship. And that's what I was saying. And then Serena is home pouring champagne for her and Leah for their mimosas. And then she's talking to Leah about her health. And then she says that her doctor her doctor told her that she has a a nod, a nod, nodule. I should remember what that word is. Nodule on her thyroid. And she said, but it's not anything bad. It's not anything bad. They just let me know that that's what's going on. And then from there, they get a FaceTime call from Janae. And Janae, they said, hey, Janae. And then she said, oh, what y'all over there doing? And then they just really just said, well, we just chilling and stuff like that. Just hanging and just talking. What about you? And then Janae texts her. And she says that they got their first application for one. And then Leah asks, is she going to Kendall's party? And then she said that she does not like Kendall. And she is not fake. And she ain't finna go up over there. I said, y'all didn't know that. And I didn't know. But it was something that happened in season 6. I don't know, for one episode. And she said that she didn't like that. And she said she don't backtrack on friendships like that. And she said she just don't F with him. So she is not going. And she didn't go to the party. I mean, that would be fake if you went to the party. But she said she don't like him. And she don't like what he stand for pretty much. So she is not going to come. And you know, he know that too. All right. And then Janae and Kenny, they come to Leah and Miguel's house. And Janae has a lot of leaves on her. I don't know what they was doing. It was some photo shoot. And there was a bunch of leaves on him. I said, okay, well. And Janae says that it's her first time meeting Torin. And then Janae says that Kayla can get along with anyone. And Kayla can get along with anybody. But it ain't nothing wrong with that. I like Torin. I like her and Torin. And I was informed by my daughter that they are still together. I said, yay, go Kayla. I don't be on TikTok like that, but I was informed that they still together. I said, that's perfect, perfect. I just like it. Because I know Kayla, she's a girl's girl. She's a love. She's a hopeless romantic. She is. And then Kendall and Liv, they arrived first. And Aaron and Connor, they arrived next. And then Liv says that she thinks that Aaron still has feelings for Kayla. And I said, he do. But we still don't, y'all don't need to entertain that now. That ain't y'all's business. Stay out of them people's business. And then Kenny shows up, and Janae and Kayla both show up in that grass. In that grass. They show up in the grass. And then Kenny walks into the hall, and Kendall has to tell him something. He said, I got to tell you something. Then Kendall says, my boy T, aka Torin, then he gets the hell scared out of him. Cause that probably would throw me off. Because if somebody said, boo, in grass and all that stuff. And then Aaron, now, we getting back to Aaron. Because Aaron says that he does not know the relationship between Kayla and Torin. And I'm like, it ain't your business though, Aaron. Please. And then he said, I do know that Kayla likes it when men fight over her. And I don't really know the relationship. But I'm like, you don't know the relationship. You don't know the severity of their relationship. So how the hell you gonna say, based off what you think you know about Kayla, that she like men fighting over her? Boy, go to bed, please. And then, like I'm saying, Aaron, he is so bothered by the fact that someone else is interested in Kayla. And then he had a whole argument with her outside the Saddle Ranch. And I'm like, man, go on. And she told him, she said, okay, well, if that's how you felt, then pretty much that's not what she on. And she's happy. And she's happy in her relationship because he had the nerve to say, I don't really know the situation with you and Torin. And I'm like, but you don't know the relationship with her and Torin, and it's not for you to know. Mind your business, my boy. Okay? And then Miguel and Leah, they show up to the ranch with with the baby, Petunia. And then Janae hold her. And then she said, oh. And then she said, I said, Janae want kids. That's obvious. It's okay. You'll have your kids one day, girl. You will. And then Connor's still talking about Janae. And then says that he wanted to apologize to her. And he just went over there to apologize to Janae. And then he said that he is sorry. And she said, it's whatever. It's whatever. Like, get the hell out of my face. Because she did say that, I mean, she still cares about her personal space. So that's why she was telling him it's whatever. For him to move on to the right. Okay? Move over. Okay? And get out of her face because she said it's whatever. So you get the hint, take your ass on. Okay? And then he said, you know, she said she need her personal space because he was in her damn personal space. And I said he definitely was because he was in everybody's personal space trying to figure out the relationship with you and him. I'm like, boy, go on, okay? And then Kendall rides the mechanical bull now, y'all. And he's pretty good. When I tell you he's good, he was very, very good. Very. He did good. And then 30 minutes later, it actually went down outside the Saddle Ranch. And Kayla and Erin are talking. And she admits that she was very, very vulnerable yesterday when she was talking to him. And she said that she's vulnerable now. But that's why she pretty much don't need his energy. And she just, I mean, she just was, it just was in her ear like blase, 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 blase. I just told you that I was vulnerable yesterday and I'm vulnerable now. So what I would like for you to do is get the hell on because I'm about to get the hell on. And she got the hell on. And he got it. He understood. If he didn't understand, he was sending his dumb ass outside. That Saddle Ranch. Just standing there by himself. And then Connor, he signed on, he said he signed on for a fitness company and he was taking his pictures and all that stuff. And then Aaron gonna sit there and he gonna come and he's sitting up there telling him that he don't like the Kayla that's being broadcasted now. He wants the Love Island Kayla. Love Island season 6 Kayla. I said, yeah, the one that you was dating and fucking over and playing with. That one. Boy, if you don't go on now. Oh, Jesus. And then it went from that scene with him being annoying. He was annoying, very. And then we get to Kenny and Janae. And then they grab dinner. And Kenny says that they go out for dinner often. Now, y'all gonna tell me if y'all gonna believe that he didn't say that they go out for dinner often, because I ain't believe shit that he was saying. And then Janae, she orders 3, appetizers. Y'all know Janae like her food. She don't play with her food. And then Kenny, he shuts down. He wasn't saying nothing. The whole dinner, he wasn't saying nothing. And she was asking him questions, and he didn't say nothing. And then the producer asked that if things don't go the way that Janae wants it to go, then how does she act? And he said, next question. I said, asshole, okay. And then that she has a dark, and then Janae said, well, I just like that Kenny knows that I have a dark sense of humor. I said, okay. Dark sense of humor, huh? And then the dinner is so uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. Hell, I was uncomfortable watching it. And then he tells her that she is a very mature person. And then Kenny says when Miguel and him went to the hike now. Listen to this, y'all. Went to the hike. He says when Miguel and him went to the hike that he did, tell him he and Leah were already, in, a relationship and in the house with each other. And then Janae said, yeah, that was quick. And then I guess he didn't know that she said, I guess he didn't know that we was living separate. And then it started from there. And then he was asking why. And then Janae said, what did you tell him? That we like he said that we like our space. And then Janae said, that is not true. And then he said, oh, you don't want your space? And then she said, no, I want to be smothered in your space. And then Kenny said that he likes his space. And then she says that she hopes he didn't tell him that we both wanted our space because, that is not true. And then he stampers too. He's stamper now. He don't be straight with this statement. He's stamper like, I'm like, look, god damn it. Pissed me off. And then he said, you want separation? I voiced to him, I want separation from you. I said, dang. I just hate to be, and then she said, I just hate for you to be telling our friends that he said, I just hate to be telling our friends that me and Janae, we separated. And then I called Leah, and she said, I called Leah crying in the grocery store. And I'm pretty sure that Miguel was right there next to her. And then he zoned out. Yeah, so he just was, I don't, let's just say this, family. I just didn't like the way that he was talking to her, and I didn't like the way that he was treating her. And then, the way that he just zoned out. And then she says, because he said, well, I assume you're upset. She said, it's whatever. I'm definitely not. I just would like to go home. She said, and then she said, I just want to go to bed now. And if I'm being honest, she just want to go to bed. And then he helped her down. And then they hold hands. And then, I don't know. Because the producer was asking, what happened. And she just told the producer what happened. And the producer was checking on her to make sure she was okay. And then, why he gonna say something? Can I know what's going on? And I'm like, no the hell you can't. You cannot know what's going on. Why would you want to know what's going on? And that was the show, y'all. Love Island, Beyond the Villa, Season 1, Episode 9, Back to the Saddle, baby. It was just so many pieces of drama and stuff like that. And it just was a lot today. And I said, oof, goodness have mercy. But I want y'all to do me a favor, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. YouTube family, and I'm gonna finish drinking my coffee and get this uploaded for y'all. Bye, YouTube family.
Wait a minute.